I became the bad guy in my stepsister's drama after I refused to cut my brothers out of my life, as she had demanded on her birthday. Out of my 4 siblings, I'm the youngest. Chris, 25 million, John, 27 million, and Michael, 28 million are my 3 older brothers. My father, 53 million, and my brothers they've always been quite protective of me, ever since our mother died when I was 8. I remember having movie nights with my brothers and father, and daughter date nights with my dad. I think they did that to make sure I didn't feel alone.My father married Melissa last year. She's 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and she's moved in with us along with. I've always felt a bit protective of her. My parents died when I was 8, and ever since then my brothers and dad have been a great support. They used to have movie nights and my dad used to take me out on dates. I think they did that to make sure I didn't feel alone. Then last year my dad married Melissa, who's 45 degrees Fahrenheit. She moved in with us and she's got this huge daughter Ashley who's like 18 feet tall. I always felt like Ashley disliked me. She'd chat with my brothers and dad but never with me. If I tried to talk to her, she'd just give me a quick response and then turn away. After a few weeks of trying and failing to get along with her, I gave up. I never understood why or if I'd done something to upset her, but it was enough that we were civil to each other. My brothers had mixed feelings about her too. She insisted on coming to our movie nights, but even if none of us were interested, she'd always insist on seeing a film. She also tried to cuddle my brothers, which they weren't keen on because they didn't really know her. Chris told her to stop. I recently turned 18. It was a relaxed and enjoyable event and I got some great presents. Ashley. The next day, Ashley approached me and complained that it was unfair because my brother's birthday presents to me were better than the ones they gave her in June last year. Since my brothers didn't really know her, they each gave her a $200 gift card to a different store so she could purchase the things she wanted. The next day, she came up to me and started crying, saying it wasn't fair that my brother gave her better birthday presents than me. My brothers didn't really know her, so they each gave her a $200 gift card to a different store so she could buy the things she loved. They were being polite. My brother sent me a personalized planner with quotes and messages on every page, a signed copy of a whole book series I've been obsessed with, and a personalized perfume, since they don't really know her. I think it's fair that they think more about what they give me. Ashley. She even broke down in tears when she said, "I always get everything and she gets nothing." Then she insisted that I quit spending time with my brothers, saying that they would give her more attention if I did. She also asked me to tell them that since she was now their sister, they should treat her the same way they treated me. I told her I wouldn't make my brothers do anything they didn't want to, but she insisted I call them right away to tell them I was going to spend less time with them and that they should pay more attention to her. I said no. She must have told her friends and cousins since I've been getting letters from them accusing me of being a pampered, self-centered child. I'm starting to question myself now. Recent update. Your recommendations and counsel are much valued. In case you missed it, I've told my father and brothers about Ashley's actions. I mentioned this in the comments. According to my father, he said he'd speak to Ashley after he'd spoken to Melissa. We all spoke the next day, and Ashley didn't deny anything, even though we thought she might. She just kept repeating everything she told me, because my boys and I were so close. My dad said he thought she felt a bit cut off, but my dad said it was wrong for her to hassle me through her mates and family and demand that I spend less time with them. Melissa started to feel bad about what Ashley had done. Ashley was just finding it hard to deal with the changes in her life, so she said she hoped we could all forgive her even though she knew it was wrong, but they did want a positive relationship with her. Michael said that if she was going to treat me like that, it was a no-go. My brothers also said that her being so touchy with them made them feel uneasy. When my dad proposed therapy, Ashley screamed and refused. I think my dad had had enough at this point. He threatened to kick her out of his home unless she sorted her problems and went to therapy. We all stopped talking after that. My dad said yes when Melissa asked if he was serious. He said he loved her and cared about Ashley, but he wouldn't tolerate bullying of his daughter in his own home. Ashley looked pretty shocked. This must have been pretty upsetting for her, especially since she was going to a nearby college and was planning to stay home to save money on rent. She started accusing me, came up to me and even tried to grab me. My brothers all stepped in between us. Ashley was really surprised. She was going to a nearby college and was trying to save money on rent by staying at home, so the bullying at home must have been really upsetting for her. She started accusing me and even tried to grab me. My brothers all stepped in between us. Right away, John told her that even if her dad was just trying to be nice, he wouldn't act like that. He said he'd put her in jail before she could blink if she touched me. As an attorney, John made it clear that this was no idle threat. Ashley took a step back and shut the door behind her. John told her straight up that even if her dad was just trying to be nice, he wouldn't be that guy. He said he'd put her in jail before she could blink if she touched me. As an attorney, John made it clear that this was no joke. Ashley took a step back and shut the door behind her. As she made her way to her room, Ashley went to therapy the following day. At least she's leaving, even though I'm not sure if Melissa tricked her or if she didn't want to get kicked out. I don't mind at all that she's been ignoring us for the past few days. Ashley started playing the sympathy card by texting My. Ashley went to therapy the next day. I don't mind that she's been ignoring us for the past few days. She started playing the sympathy card by texting my brothers the day she started therapy. They all obstructed her. I'm doing fine personally. Everyone kind of forgot that I'm leaving for college in a few days because of this whole situation. My father and brothers are currently behaving irrationally and like mother hens, lol. Update 2 to put things in perspective. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. 18F Chris. 25 million John. 27 million and Michael. 28 million are my 3 brothers. When I was 8, our mother died. My dad, 53 million, married Melissa, 45F, last year, and she moved in with her daughter Ashley, 18F, from a previous marriage. I wrote about Ashley, who was in tears, making me quit spending time with my brothers because she wanted them to give her more attention. Barely a month ago, she constantly accused me of keeping her from connecting with my brothers and blamed me for everything. We all took a seat and spoke. I went to college and Ashley went to treatment. However, I am aware that I'm still not her favorite person. The current issue. I turned 18 a little over a month ago. My maternal grandparents gave me a pair of diamond earrings as a family treasure. My mom used to have them, but she couldn't give them to me, so my grandma kept them until I turned 18. I keep them in a closed drawer in my room. Melissa and Ashley went to a wedding yesterday. Melissa put a post on Facebook, so I knew, but I didn't think much of it. I just knew straight away that those were my earrings, even though I know it's wrong to make accusations without. I told my dad and brothers on the phone before I went home. Melissa didn't believe me when I called her to explain. She said Ashley had borrowed the earrings from a friend. When I got home, I saw the earrings were gone and the drawer had been opened. I told my dad and brothers on the phone before I went home. Melissa didn't trust me when I called her to explain the problem, because Ashley had told her that she borrowed the earrings from a friend. When I got home, I found that the earrings were gone and the drawer had been broken. We checked the hallway security camera, which I'd put in after some problems in the past, and it showed Ashley going into my room and coming out again a short while later. I was panicking. Ashley got a call from my dad, who was demanding that she give me my earrings back. At first, she denied everything, but when he said that we checked the hallway security camera, which we'd put in after some trouble we'd had in the past, it captured Ashley entering my room and leaving again a short while later. I was panicking. Ashley got a call from my dad, who demanded that she return my earrings. At first, she denied everything, but when he revealed that we had video footage, she started to defend herself by claiming that I wasn't using them and that she had simply borrowed them. My dad was then barred by her. Melissa was also not picking up her phone. I was considering going to the wedding right away when my brothers, who were really tired of Ashley, proposed that we go to the Melissa had video footage, which she used to defend herself by claiming that I wasn't using them and that she had simply borrowed them. My dad was then barred from the premises. Melissa also wasn't picking up her phone. I was considering going to the wedding right away when my brothers, who were really tired of Ashley, proposed that we go to the police station and report her for stealing. At first, I was hesitant, But then I recalled that Ashley had stolen these earrings without my consent, which my mother had left for me. We displayed the security film, filed a report, and went to the station. Ashley was brought to the police station this morning to be questioned. Melissa and I stayed at the station. Ashley's family has been calling and texting me, accusing me of being dramatic and embarrassing their family, because a lot of the wedding guests witnessed the police officers update 3. I hadn't planned to update after my initial post was locked, but I received a lot of messages. Melissa and Ashley were still at the station. Ashley's family has been on the phone and texting me, accusing me of being dramatic and embarrassing their family because a lot of the wedding guests saw the police officers. I hadn't planned to update after my initial post was locked, but I got loads of messages asking for one and telling me to update my profile. So here it is. If you're still with me, be prepared for a long read because a lot happened. Let me start by answering the question that's on everyone's mind. Yes, I did get my earrings back. They're currently located much safer than before. Second, my brother. I'll start by answering the question that's probably on everyone's mind. Yes, I did get my earrings back. They're currently located somewhere much safer than before. My brother handled most of the legal stuff, so I don't really know the specifics, but here they are. The price of the earrings is high, and Ashley was in a lot of trouble because my grandparents had them certified and had all the paperwork. Ashley was kicking and screaming the entire time. According to my dad was at the station when he heard about what happened. Ashley insisted she borrowed the earrings from a friend, but the police showed her the video evidence. She couldn't remember who she borrowed them from. To make matters worse, she was wearing the earrings in a customized. My dad told me that Ashley tried to run away when the police were talking to her, and she even bit one of the officers. So she had to stay in the police station overnight to apologize. I thought this was pretty funny, to be honest. I know it's not right to laugh at other people's bad luck, but I'm only human. My dad's wife, Melissa, said she was really disappointed in all of us. She said Ashley's actions were a bit of a gray area, but we could have waited for her to come back instead of making things worse. She stopped the call and stopped answering her phone that evening. When my eldest brother asked her why she didn't want the situation to get out of hand, despite her inability to respond, she insisted that we make considerations for family. Melissa went on to say that diamonds should be worn rather than kept in a drawer, and that Ashley looked lovely in the earrings. This makes me think that she was aware Ashley had stolen my earrings from the beginning and just allowed it to happen. Unfortunately, I can't prove this. Melissa and my dad are divorcing. I hope this is resolved quickly because I don't think she's receiving much because they have a prenuptial agreement. Ashley, on the other hand, has been sending me nasty messages, just her standard fare. Although I don't read the messages, I haven't blocked her since we all think she would try to get in touch with us again. We want to use this as proof for a restraining order against her. They have left. The house has been left as is. Melissa is still trying to persuade my dad to change his mind. He said that his children must always come first and that he cannot allow a thief to live in his home. He believes that Ashley is a threat to my brothers and me. My brothers and I have blocked Melissa after she tried to. I really hope this whole situation is ending because it's turned into quite a spectacle. I hope this is my final post on this site. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's messaged or left comments asking about my well-being. I appreciate all the best wishes. Melissa is still begging my dad to change his mind. He says his kids must always come first and that he can't let a thief live in his home. He reckons Ashley's a threat to my brothers and me. I've blocked Melissa after she tried to get in touch with us. I just wanted to say a massive thank you for all the kind messages and advice. I've had a few people asking if Ashley didn't know about the camera in the hallway. To be honest, I don't think I ever told her. I just thought it was so obvious. I couldn't see how anyone could have got it wrong. I also got a few messages asking why the security camera was installed in the first place, since our neighborhood was the scene of several crimes a few years ago. I was often home alone at that time, from the moment I got home from school until my dad returned from work. The house was equipped with a security camera. Some people also asked why the security camera was installed in the first place. Our neighborhood was the scene of several crimes a few years ago. I was often home alone at that time, from the moment I got home from school until my dad returned from work. The house was equipped with security cameras since my father and brothers were too cautious to remove them. Many Reddit users messaged me after my first post, warning me to be careful because Ashley might try to take anything. They were right, though, so I made sure to confirm that the cameras were operational. I had to block my aunt and cousin to stop them harassing me after my partner, and I refused to give up our baby for adoption. I'm 8 months pregnant and my aunt and cousin have been causing me problems ever since I told them. We already love our girl and neither my spouse nor I intend to part. I've had to block my aunt and cousin because they've been harassing me ever since I refused to give up my baby for adoption. I'm 8 months pregnant, 24 weeks, and since I told them, they've been causing me problems. My partner and I love our baby and we don't want to give her up. My aunt wants me to give my cousin, who can't have children, my baby though. She's been a mother to me and my sister since our mom died. We've always had a close relationship with our aunt. My aunt wants me to give my cousin, who can't have kids, my child. She's been a mother figure to my sister and me since our mom died. We've always been close to our aunt, and we've tried to help my cousin with her fertility issues. My aunt's a Mormon and goes to church a lot. She has a strict, narrow-minded view of morality, values, and how to live a decent life. She's also really religious. She says a child should have a loving, caring mother, a father who provides for them, and a solid religious foundation. My spouse feels that my child will grow up in our home confused and misinformed because we both have full-time jobs and she is not a Christian. She claims that the child won't have the right care and identity because of our differing. My partner thinks that our child will grow up in our home feeling confused and misinformed because we both have full-time jobs and other commitments. She says that the child won't get the right care and identity because of our different religious beliefs. She's worried that in such a situation, our child's welfare won't be a priority and that they might choose a bad, immoral path. She thinks that my cousin, who works from home part-time, and her spouse are far more qualified to provide a caring household that is full of religion and morals. My cousin and aunt have moved to a new house, but they don't know the address, and I've blocked them from most forms of communication so they can't influence my medical choices. My boyfriend and I also got married in a private ceremony. My aunt has been more hostile to me than the other. One time she even yelled and argued when she turned up at my old flat. One day she tried to get me to meet her at a cafe near her church so we could talk about the baby, but I told her we didn't have anything to talk about. So she got mad and started yelling when she showed up at my old apartment one day. She was trying to get me to meet her at a cafe near her church so we could talk about the baby. She kept going even after I told her we didn't have anything to talk about and that I was keeping the baby. In the end, I had to tell the apartment manager and hide in my flat. It took her about 30 minutes to leave. Also, my aunt has got her religious friends involved, who sometimes leave me angry voicemails and texts. My cousin has been more reserved around me, but she's dealing with a lot of trauma and sadness after her baby daughter died before she was born. She's been going to motherhood forums and posting a lot on social media. I've heard she's been trying to get pregnant through these forums. She's been kicked out of a bunch of groups because of the stuff she's done. People say she's been pressuring widows and young moms to give her their kids, and that's really hurt her. My cousin, who sees my baby girl as a replacement for her dead child, is apparently waiting for me to give birth because she's really missing her. For a child to fix her family. My aunt and cousin both think I'll eventually give up my child because I'll get too stressed with being a mom. They think I'll let my cousin be adopted by her husband. My aunt says I might have another child in the future and says, since we're family, it should be easy enough to get my kid to my cousin, right? My aunt reckons that, since I'm still young and I'm planning to go to grad school after working for a bit, it'll be a piece of cake. But it feels like my cousin wants to get back in touch with me like we did before I became. I'm not sure if I'm going to talk to her again until after I give birth. I want to assess her emotional state and avoid adding to my pregnant stress. I liked her more than my aunt when I was growing up, and had always been there for her during her infertility issues. But her recent actions and thoughts have taken me by surprise. I'm worried about my safety. We got married in secret this year, and now my partner and I are organizing a big wedding next year. I'm not sure if my aunt or cousin will be able to come or be invited, apart from people who are close to them. Apart from my aunt and cousin, I currently get a lot of support from since we got married in secret this year. I've been worried about my safety. My partner and I are organizing a big wedding celebration for next year. But I'm not sure if my aunt or cousin will be able to make it or be invited. Apart from people who are close to my aunt and cousin, I currently get a lot of support from both sides of my family. I'm not sure if that support will still be there or how my relationship with my aunt and cousin will change in a year. I've missed a few family occasions that I knew they would be at, but I don't want to miss out on family get-togethers after my baby. I'm not sure how things will work out with my aunt and cousin, or what problems might result from this circumstance that I was raised in a culture that viewed starting a family and having children as a reward for leading a morally upright life. Even if you were truly having difficulties, you were rarely given. I was born into a culture where having kids was seen as a reward for leading a moral life. If you were struggling, you weren't likely to get much help, and people would criticize you for any flaws. Adoptions were a big part of my church's work, and I think they still are. The birth mothers were often young, unmarried, single, or seen as ungodly if they chose to raise their kids with the church's support. The church would put pressure on them and make them worry about their future and what would happen to their kids. These babies were often given to Mormon couples who couldn't have kids or who wanted to do something nice by saving a child and giving the birth mother a chance to get her life together and be a better person. A fulfilling life. I'm now really cautious of this practice, since it terrifies me. First, adoption. My aunt and cousin, who are also active members, and I spoke with the local church head about the matter. After a lengthy conversation, he first disregarded my worries as family disputes and recommended that I seek counseling. We told him about my cousin's false dreams of adopting my baby, who she feels would grow up in a decent household, and how she is still struggling with the trauma of the death of her baby. We also told him about the serious disruption and stress my aunt has been inflicting by feeding into these hopes. I told him about my aunt and cousin's false hopes for my baby, and how they've been nagging me about it. The pastor of the church said he understood, because she can't have kids. He said he'd get in touch with them to find out what they had to say. I spoke to him again today and he was worried. He was worried that I'd stop talking to my aunt and cousin, especially since I moved away, and said they'd like to talk to me. I asked him about what they'd said and told him their actions regarding my baby had influenced my decision to break off communication. He said that because of her health, my cousins, I told him that I'd stop talking to my aunt and cousin, especially since I moved away, and said I wanted to talk to them. I asked him about what they'd said and told him that what they did with my baby had influenced my decision to stop talking to them. He said that because of my cousin's health, IVF treatments are unlikely to be successful. So she talked to a therapist at the church and was thinking about adoption as a way to have a family. I made it clear to him that I wasn't giving up my kid, and he said he understood. He started to ask about my personal situation, and then he recommended that we seek therapy services and try to arrange a meeting between us. IVF treatments are unlikely to be successful, so she had spoken to a church therapist and was considering adoption as a way to have a family. Despite what my cousin had been thinking, I made it clear to him that I wasn't giving up on my child. After he understood, he started to ask about my personal situation. He then recommended that we seek therapy services and make another attempt to arrange a meeting between us and my aunt and cousin. I told him that I didn't feel comfortable with that idea. He suggested that I at least give my cousin a call once, and if I was too afraid to do it myself, he would meet with my aunt on Sunday. That was the end of our call. In the upcoming days, I'll update this site with his comments and changes, since I don't want to make a completely new post for it. I will also change this one to make updates easier to find. I'm not happy with his response or the pressure he's putting on me to contact my aunt and cousin, even though he says he understands my concerns. I think he's being condescending and trying to pressure us to settle our differences too quickly, especially since he has religious authority and influence over my aunt and cousin.My boyfriend, and I first thought it would be worthwhile to try to get in touch with him when we speak on. I'm not happy with how he responded, and I don't like the pressure he's putting on me to get in touch with my aunt and cousin. He says he gets where I'm coming from, but I think he's being condescending and trying to force us to settle our differences too quickly. My boyfriend and I decided to try to get in touch with him when we spoke on the phone again. I'll listen to his response and figure out how to make him take my concerns more seriously. I didn't give him any personal information, and I don't plan to see my aunt and cousin in person. We don't live in Utah, and we've already got in touch with legal assistance. Update 2. I've decided to message and unblock my cousin. I told her there would be no discussion about my partner. I'll go through the phone records to see if I can find out more about this. I'll listen to his response and try to get him to see my concerns as more important. Just to be clear, I didn't give him any personal information and I don't want to see my aunt and cousin in person. We don't live in Utah and we've already got legal assistance. Update 2. I've decided to message and unblock my cousin. I told her there would be no discussion about my partner and that I don't want her husband or my aunt to be involved in my child's life. I urged her to get good therapy if she hasn't already. She still hasn't replied. No matter what she says, she won't be involved in my child's life and our connection won't be the same as it was. Third update. The birth of my kid and other projects while I heal and take care of her have kept me. I've been pretty busy over the last 3 months, so I haven't had a chance to update you until now. I've logged on to Reddit a few times, but my baby is almost 4 months old and I'm 25. Time goes by so quickly. She's doing great and makes us very happy. She's maturing so quickly, and I enjoy taking walks with her. I've started my job search and I'm planning to return to work soon. I appreciate all of your best wishes and concerns. I hope the Thanksgiving I've been really busy over the last few months, so I haven't had a chance to update you until now. I've logged on to Reddit a few times, but I haven't had much time to do much else. My baby is almost 4 months old and I'm 25 weeks gone. She's doing great and we're all really happy with her. She's growing up so quickly and I love taking walks with her. I've started my job search and I'm planning to go back to work soon. I really appreciate all your kind wishes and thoughts. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving holiday season. Here's the long-awaited update about my cousin and aunt. My aunt and cousin have been quiet since my last update. My aunt got in touch with me in August, using a different phone, after my cousin didn't reply to my text. She asked about my health and whether I'd given birth yet. She was really concerned about my babies and my well-being during our short conversation because I'd cut off a lot of contact. The holiday season's going well for everyone here. I've got the latest on my cousin and aunt. They've been quiet since my last update. My aunt got in touch in August after I sent her a text, because my cousin hadn't replied. She asked about my health and whether I'd given birth yet. She was worried about my babies and me because I'd cut off a lot of contact with my family and quit my job. My aunt told me that they'd been trying to adopt a child through their church, but hadn't been successful yet. Probably because they'd only just started the process. When I asked about my cousin, my aunt said that my cousin's husband's past would be an issue. When I asked if they'd spoken with a legitimate adoption agency, my aunt went on to talk about how the white birth rate is. My aunt told me that they'd been trying to adopt a child through their church but hadn't had any luck yet. She said it was probably because they'd only just started the process. When I asked about my cousin, my aunt said that her husband's past would be an issue. When I asked if they'd spoken to a legit adoption agency, she started going on about how the white birth rate is going down and how people are deliberately avoiding motherhood. I hadn't known that. Then she got all upset and started talking about 9th-month abortions and whether I still wanted the baby. She's a total pro-lifer. I told her again that I really wanted to keep my child. She went on to talk about how my cousin, who's in her early 30s, was getting older and how her nest was still empty. My aunt wanted me to. At least my aunt was really keen for me to share the joy of having a baby with my cousin, who's in her early 30s, so she could be a part of my daughter's life. I told her that, because of what my cousin and her husband had done in the past, this wouldn't be possible. I was worried that my cousin would try to act like a mother and let her comments take over again. I refused to accept that my aunt thought my cousin was trying to improve herself and had received church therapy. She then asked if I knew of any. I told her that, because of what had happened before, this wouldn't work. I was worried that my cousin would try to be a mom and let her words take over again. I refused to believe that my aunt thought my cousin was trying to improve herself and had been to church therapy. She then asked if I knew of anyone who might want to adopt a child. I said I didn't and told my cousin and her husband to be careful and patient while they got ready to have kids, because everyone around them is having babies. My aunt said it was really important for my cousin and her husband to have kids, not just because they deserve them, but also for their reputation. She pushed me on when I might have my next child. After this surprise pregnancy, my aunt told me that family planning was important and asked if she and my cousin could help next time. I got a bit tired of the chat as the call continued and her usual behavior became more obvious. Thank goodness she ended the call before me because she had an event to go to. I like that my sister is there to tell me I might be having another baby, and I've decided to steer clear of the topic of my future family plans for now. After this surprise pregnancy, my aunt said that family planning was really important and asked if she and my cousin could get involved next time. I got a bit tired of the chat and the call ended up going on for ages. Thank goodness she ended the call before me because she had an event to go to. I like that my sister lets me know about any updates to my old church and what's going on with my aunt, cousin, and the rest of the family. My sister said my aunt was telling the truth about my cousin. Although my cousin still has really bad depression, her general mental health has got a lot better than it was at the worst times. Not having kids and the tension in her relationship with my sister and me might make her feel really empty sometimes. I just wanted to let you know about some updates on my family. My aunt has been talking to my cousin about having kids, and she's been asking for my forgiveness. She's doing a lot better than she was, but she's still really down about not having kids. My sister and I are thinking of going to IVF doctor abroad, but there aren't many options left here. I'm not sure how my cousin feels about that, but she's been asking for my kids to come back. I'm not going to be around for Thanksgiving, but I'm sure my family will be. I'm planning to go back to work after the holidays, and I've already made childcare plans and taken all the required safety measures. All things considered, the future looks bright again. Thanks for your support, everyone. If you have any questions about parenting, Mormonism, my family, etc., please contact me. My aunt has expressed her readiness for the grandma life and has taken it. I'm planning to go back to work after the holidays, as I've already made arrangements with daycare and taken all the necessary safety precautions. All things considered, the future looks bright again. I appreciate your support, everyone. If you have any questions about parenting, Mormonism, my family, etc., please get in touch. My aunt has said that she's ready for the grandma life and has shown a strong interest in my cousin's family starting new projects. When we were younger, my aunt also said that because my sister and I lost our mother when we were very young, she would be like a grandmother to our future children. She must not be as excited about us as she once was. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.